If I tell you that the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child consists of 54 articles, of which 41 refer to substantive issues and the rest are just procedural, I know that it is difficult to memorize all, and for that reason, we can say that it contains 4 fundamental principles. The principle of survival, development, and protection of the child. The principle of the best interests of the child. The principle of equality and non-discrimination between all children. The principle of the importance of the participation of the child.
According to World Health Organization, violence is the intentional use of physical force or power, threatened or actual against oneself, another person, or against a group or community, which either results in or has a high likelihood of resulting in injury, death, psychological harm, maldevelopment, or deprivation. According to World Health Organization, violence against children or child maltreatment includes all forms of physical and emotional ill treatment, sexual abuse, neglect, and exploitation that results in actual or potential harm to the child's health, development, or dignity. For infants and younger children, violence mainly involves child maltreatment like physical, sexual, and emotional abuse and neglect at the hands of parents and other authority figures. Boys and girls are at equal risk of physical and emotional abuse and neglect, and girls are at greater risk of sexual abuse. As children reach adolescence, peer violence and intimate partner violence, in addition to child maltreatment, become highly prevalent. According to Article 19 of United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, there are unfortunately many dimensions to violence against children, which include physical, social, physics, and sexual dimensions. Now, let's have a look at these typologies of violence against children. Physical punishment. According to American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, physical punishment, sometimes called corporal punishment, is anything done to cause pain or discomfort in response to your child's behaviors. Behaviors like hitting with hands or objects, slapping and punching, kicking, shaking, throwing, biting, and stretching are some examples of physical punishment. In short term, physical punishment can lead some consequences in the child, like bullying other children, being aggressive, behavioral problems, fearing his or her parents, poor self-esteem, thinking that hitting is okay. Child sexual abuse, also called child molestation, is a form of child abuse in which an adult or older adolescent uses a child for sexual stimulation. A child can be exposed to sexual abuse at home, at school, and even in digital environment. According to UNICEF, sexual abuse of a child will result in physical, social, and psychological damage, which will reduce their ability to care for themselves and others in their adulthood times. Emotional or psychological violence. Emotional abuse happens when a child is repeatedly made to feel worthless, unloved, alone, or scared. Also known as psychological or verbal abuse, it can include constant rejection, hostility, teasing, bullying, yelling, criticism, and exposure to family violence. It also involves the emotional mistreatment of a child. According to National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, the physical signs of emotional violence cannot be obvious, and the child may not mention about this until they reach a crisis point. So, it is important to look out for signs in how a child is acting. Community violence. Community violence is exposure to intentional acts of interpersonal violence committed in public areas by individuals who are not intimately related to the victim. Common types of community violence that affect youth include individual and group conflicts like fights among gangs and other groups, shoutings in public areas such as schools and communities. Maltreatment. Maltreatment refers to the quality of care a child is receiving from those responsible for the child. Maltreatment occurs when a parent or other person legally responsible for the care of a child harms a child or places a child in imminent danger of harming by failing to exercise the minimum degree of care in providing the child with food, clothing, shelter, education, medical care, and other basic needs. According to Office for Children and Family Services, abandonment of a child or from not providing adequate supervision for the child can also lead to maltreatment.
Human rights belong to each and every one of us equally. All individuals are equal as human beings and by virtue of the inherent dignity of each human person. All human beings are entitled to their human rights without discrimination of any kind, such as race, color, sex, ethnicity, age, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, disability, property, birth, or other status as explained by the human rights treaty bodies. Are human rights valid for children? Children and young people have the same general human rights as adults and also specific rights that recognize their special needs. Children are neither the property of their parents, nor are they helpless objects of the charity. They are human beings and are the subject of their own rights. Why have children's rights been singled out in a separate human rights convention? Children start life as totally dependent beings. Children must rely on adults for the nurture and guidance they need to grow towards independence. Such nurture is ideally found from adults in children's families, but when primary adult caregivers cannot meet their children's needs, it is up to the state as the primary duty bearer to find an alternative in the best interests of the child. The actions or inactions of government impact children more strongly than any other group in society.